Bird's Eye View of Comparing Styles of Leadership by Craig Carr and Joseph Kidder. Craig Carr, D-Min, is Ministerial and Evangelism Director for the Mid-America Union, Lincoln, Nebraska, United States. Joseph Kidder, D-Min, is a professor of pastoral theology and discipleship at Seventh-day Adventist Theological Seminary, Andrews University, Berrien Springs, Michigan, United States. Thousands of books on leadership cover many subjects, such as styles, approaches, systems, and theories. Though most pastors want to be successful, the greater need is to bring meaningful change to their church. They want to be transformational leaders. In this article, we examine leadership styles illustrated by a variety of birds and their behavior. The eagle, the charismatic leader. When thinking of eagles, we are attracted to the leadership traits resembled by their qualities, such as nobility, vision, and appeal. Yet eagles also tend to be unapproachable, selfish, and lonely. Though well-equipped as a skillful hunter, the eagle often feeds on carrion it did not have to catch. With a wingspan of up to 7 feet, the eagle can soar to more than 5 miles in altitude, providing an unparalleled view of the earth below. Eagles can see an ant on the ground while it is sitting on the roof of a 10-story building. Their field of vision wraps 270 degrees around them, compared with 180 degrees for humans. Items right in front of them are magnified and displayed in brightly colored hues. Eagles see what humans cannot see. Effective leaders, too, see what others cannot yet see. This supervision, however great for catching prey or for finding carrion, is beneficial for individual gain, but not for empowering anyone else. Empowerment requires trust and interest in others. Quote, empowerment is not merely a one-way transaction of authority. It's a two-way process of trust and accountability, end quote. The eagle is commonly found in a single nest. Its sense of team is limited to its immediate family, without much concern for a wider community. Additionally, swooping down by surprise is one of the eagle's best tactics for catching prey. For the well-intentioned pastor, implementing a vision too quickly can appear like swooping in by surprise. Some pastors resemble the eagle because of their vision, but their lack of building a team around the vision puts them at risk of finding themselves flying solo. Charismatic leaders can appeal to the emotions of others, convincing them to buy into their big dream. However, as the leader's ego is elevated above the objectives of the group, their single-minded ambition can minimize the team's value and contribution. While the leader's vision becomes more important than people are, he or she will be flying solo. Pastor, quote, eagle, end quote, needs to be conscious of how these aggressive tendencies affect others and diminish their collective ability to fulfill the vision. Though vision and charisma are important, building and motivating a team are essential to the vision's fulfillment. Here are the words that Pastor Eagle need to heed. Quote, shepherd the flock of God that is among you, exercising oversight, not under compulsion, but willingly, as God would have you, not for shameful gain, but eagerly, not domineering over those in your charge, but being examples to the flock, end quote. The penguin, the happy-go-lucky leader. Whether dancing in conga lines on land, swirling in the water, or winning hearts on the big screen, the flamboyant penguin is a bird that can, quote, do practically anything except fly, end quote. Always in flocks, penguins appear to enjoy the company of others. As extremely social creatures, penguins typically stick with family members until reaching maturity around age 4. They do not have to search very far for a lifelong companion, because they hang out in large colonies with many potential mates. Though awkward on land, penguins are pure grace underwater. Ill-equipped to fly, they are massively equipped to swim. Penguins excel in building alliances for survival's sake. As they huddle in herds for protection from the elements, the ones on the outside rotate to the interior, thus taking turns providing warmth and shelter to one another. Their vision is limited to surviving and making the best of the moment. Pastor, quote, penguin, end quote, is excellent at building a crowd that happily huddles together, but because of his or her lack of vision, nothing significant is accomplished beyond survival. Interest is limited to the joy of the moment. Dominated by social tendencies, he or she is happy to waddle and splash around with many friends, but never accomplishes a real goal. Their survival is the greatest testimony of their success. A colony of contented penguins could represent an inwardly focused church where the members stick to themselves. Experiencing only minimal growth, their focus is mainly on creating an environment of fun, community, and contentment. The pastor wants everyone happy and safe, but the group will never go anywhere, and the idea of an authentically growing biblical community that impacts the broader community is beyond them. While the penguin is surrounded by others, there is little sense of teamwork because there is no vision. Little will be accomplished, but no one will care. For Pastor Penguin to grow the kingdom of God, there must be a clear vision that reaches beyond these social club tendencies. With so much focus on maintaining the happy huddle, all else is easily overlooked, leading to a lack of leadership that ignores the personal growth and discipleship that would lead to evangelism. This overly cautious style of leadership also tends to avoid conflict at the expense of vision, even dodging current problems and challenges which can only stunt growth. The book of Acts describes church community from a social aspect that includes caring for one another and sharing meals together. Furthermore, the early church spent much time in activities focused on spiritual growth, such as praise and worship, scripture reading, and prayer, which led to additional disciples joining them. Quote, "So continuing daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, they ate their food with gladness and simplicity of heart, praising God for having favor with all the people, and the Lord added to the church daily those who were being saved." End quote. The parrot, the copycat leader. With its beautiful array of colorful feathers and a unique ability to talk, the parrot is one of nature's most charming entertainers and a great companion. Parrots are vocal learners that are quickly able to grasp and imitate sounds. The African grey parrot can listen to people talk, discern the proper context and situation, and even hold a reasonable conversation. Well, reasonable within the context of being a bird. Have you ever wondered why parrots copy human speech? The answer is its desire to be accepted and gain attention. Quote, "Plop a parrot into a human household, and it will try to integrate itself into the situation as though the people were its flock." End quote. With little or no understanding of its well-articulated words, the parrot is the consummate copycat. Likewise, Pastor, quote, "parrot," end quote, has the temptation of mechanically repeating what others are doing, but with little personal reflection or understanding. This becomes obvious when returning from most recent leadership seminar and trying to, quote, "drag and drop," end quote, the latest and greatest strategies and programs. This approach rarely works. Pastors should learn as much as they can from growing churches and gather as many leadership principles as possible, and then individualize them to their specific context. Simply repeating what others have done, rather than going through the difficult task of sensing God's calling and leading, results in little success and a great deal of frustration and conflict. Pastor Parrot is only capable of reflecting someone else's vision, repeating what others are doing, but neglecting the process that leads to God's unique vision for the local context. True success is found in the pastor's personal struggle with God, a struggle that leads to the right principles needed for his or her immediate context. God has promised, quote, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." End quote. The goose, the transformational leader. Whenever we see geese, these birds of a feather flock together. Flocks of geese demonstrate the value of cooperation as they fly in a formation that enables them to travel up to 70% farther compared to being alone. These results are achieved as each goose creates lift for the goose immediately behind it. The lead goose works most diligently as the other geese, quote, "honk," end quote, their encouragement. When the lead goose tires, it rotates to the rear, where it's easier to fly. Geese demonstrate shared leadership by distributing the responsibility to each member of the flock. Their cooperation and encouragement enable the flock to achieve their desired destination with less individual effort, and their success is attributed to the group. In like manner, Pastor, quote, "goose," end quote, needs to apply the principles of shared leadership, working in unity and achieving a better future vision together as a congregation. Quote, "Unity is a state of many acting as one. It is an attribute of highly effective teams, whether in marriage, business, church, or government. Without it, progress stops." End quote. The transformational leader identifies the needed change, creates a vision, and executes the change with the commitment of the group. They have a vision. They work together. The leader is cheered on by the rest. Collaboration is their greatest asset. These leaders empathize with members of their team, building personal relationships and trust. Transformational leadership creates a system in which the functions of all, quote, "followers," end quote, are continually developing into, quote, "leaders," end quote, and everyone contributes to the health and success of the group. Quote, "Transformational leadership enhances the motivation, morale, and performance of followers through a variety of mechanisms. These include connecting the followers' sense of identity and self to the mission and the collective identity of the organization, being a role model for followers that inspires them, challenging followers to take greater ownership for their work, and understanding the strengths and weaknesses of followers so the leader can align followers with tasks that optimize their performance." End quote. To paraphrase philanthropist Andrew Carnegie, no pastor will be a great leader if he or she wants to do it all by himself or herself, or to receive all the credit for doing it. the transformational pastor must demonstrate a level of commitment that says, quote, I will be the first to go forward, end quote, thus inspiring the rest of the congregation to do the same. The synergy created by each team member, leading out in significant ways for the benefit of the whole, is a reminder of Paul describing the diversity and unity of the church as one body. Quote, for as the body is one and has many members, but all the members of that one body, being many, are one body, so also is Christ, end quote. Pastor Goose ensures the various parts of the body are performing at optimum levels, according to their gifts and callings. Best model. Each style of leadership has strengths and weaknesses. However, Geese best model transformational leadership, in which a shared vision involves everyone working together. When a transformational leader casts a vision, it is no longer simply their own personal vision. Rather, it causes others to say, quote, this is our church, end quote. A shared vision encourages and allows people to work together. It says that if you want to go where we are going, then climb on a board. Let's go together. We need each other if anything significant is going to happen for Christ. For bibliographical and biblical references on this article, and for much more content for pastors and church leaders, please visit ministrymagazine.org.